Yes! Alrighty, what's up everybody? It is I, your tribal god of extreme and extreme heavyweight champion of the world 18 times, my friends. 18 undefeated times, because nobody can beat me, even on commentary. But it is I, Peter Joseph here, for video number 2 on your beautiful Sunday, late Sunday afternoon, getting close to Sunday evening, Sunday night, August the 24th, 2025. Thanks for watching video number 2 right here on the main channel, Killer of Demons 669. And as always, thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video, hit the subscribe button down in my pants, otherwise known as the description box below. So, down below in the description box on this channel and my other channels, show your love and support. Leave a comment on the video if you like, but if you leave stupid comments, you can pretty much go fuck yourself, go to hell. Get out of here, because you're going to get blocked, sent to the Shadow Realm. Satan and Ozzy will eat your soul. So don't do that. You want to do it, don't on the dead channel that nobody even looks at. And that's that. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Share the video all over the internet. Don't forget to tap and slap that fucking bell. Turn on all notifications so you don't miss the next one. Because if you miss anything, you are SOL. And you know what that means. If you don't know what it means, look it up. But some people are too stupid to look it up. That's why you have no education, and you live in a dump like England. But, I digress on that. We move on with that. And, for our new people, if you're just floating around YouTube, you see my gorgeous, sexy face, because you know you do, because you know you want to watch. But if, for our newbies out there, you're thinking about subscribing, please do. But when you do subscribe, welcome to the party, pal! We hope you enjoy the ride. Sit back, you relax. Grab a nice cold one. Put your feet up and enjoy the show. And, like I said before, if you like it, great. You know, go fuck yourself. And get out of here. We only take real people that love the show here. You don't like it? Then go watch somebody else. Simple as that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, on this Sunday afternoon, late Sunday afternoon, we're getting ready for another pay-per-view, and that's NXT Heatwave, coming your way from the Lowell Memorial Auditorium in Lowell, Massachusetts, coming off a long, not that long, about 4.5 hours, almost felt like it was going to go 5. Strict time limit, my ass, Tony Khan. 4.5 hours, but it was a great show. Horrible aftermath, though. And only one title changed, and that was the tag team titles. Brodito, of all teams, Brodito wins! I wanted FTR to win, so it makes sense. So when we go to All Out, September the 20th, we have Edge and Christian going against FTR, because the storyline is leading to that. But we go with Brodito? Bruh! So we had that, Timeless Toni Storm beats Athena for the to retain her title, which I thought was a good match. Probably one of the matches of the night. Hangman and MJF went ballistic. I mean, MJF has a gripe because he pinned Hangman, but Hangman's foot was on the rope. Even though the referee counted the 3, and I'm like, oh, he won! What happened? Everything was like turned to chaos after. I was like, wait, did MJF just win the belt? And then I was like, it's still going on. I'm like, what the fuck? But anyway, Hangman still retains the title, but I think MJF's going to have a gripe about that. And probably invoke his title shot, which he didn't before because he played mind games with the Hangman. Now he felt stupid. But you know, then again, MJF is a smart man, so now he can invoke it at All Out if he wants to, and get the rematch where he probably will win the belt, but then again, who knows? So we got that. That was bloody as fuck. We had that. Zack Sabre Jr. and Nigel attacking, go, mwah! Love that. Zack Sabre Jr. retained the IWGP Heavyweight title. Edge and Christian beat Kip Sabian and Luchasaurus to open the show. And then the hellacious New Japan style cage match, basically. It was like in AEW terms, it looked like the New Japan dog cage match, but bigger. per se. But Team Ocean Spray beats Team Moxley in one hellacious match. Everybody was, well, pretty much almost everybody was busted wide open. Darby doing his shit. Him and Moxley go through like 6,000 tables. And then, probably one of the most horrific spots ever. You thought Moxley getting spiked when he had the edges spiked 2x4 and it stuck in his back was sick? Moxley takes a fork and goes into Darby's freaking ear when he had that thing like Jeff Hardy would do, Darby is in a chair, duct taped, can't get out, and Moxley takes the fork, goes right into the ear, and freaking almost, and I think he did sever freaking Darby's freaking ear. It looked fucking sick. I'm about to puke. I'm like, ah! You see all the blood just like start pouring out, like, ah! Jesus Christ! Almighty God, by God Almighty! But then in the end, Ocean Spray gets the win for his team, obviously. So we get that, and we thought it was over. Nope! Moxley comes back in, Claudio beats the fuck out of Ocean Spray, and then the rest of Team Moxley comes in, beats the crap out of Ocean Spray, and then pretty much all of his team, like, didn't even bother to help, like, raise the cage! Raise the cage! They can't even climb the cage! You fuckers! I mean, what kind of aftermath was that? They just left Ocean Spray for dead to write him off. That was a horrible fucking aftermath. Horrible. So they write him off. Okada retained the Unified title. And Swerve basically broke his neck, technically. So, he's gone. And then Wardlow comes back and joins the Don Callis family. Why? And then Jamie Hayter comes back to rejoin the women's division. That's nice and all, but, yeah. But, all in all, I thought it was a pretty good pay-per-view. I'm going to do the review later. But, WWE's on the horn about to sign Persephone or Bozilla. Because you know it's going to happen. Remember, last year was Mercedes and Stephanie Vercoeur. 2 weeks later, Stephanie Vercoeur's in WWE. So you know Bozilla and freaking Persephone are pretty much about to get a deal from Hunter or Shawn Michaels. You know it's going to happen, because they love to get people from Stardom. So, where did Stephanie come from, even though CMLL, and Japan, but whatever. Julia came from Stardom. So, and Bozilla's like, you know, the second coming, not the second coming, but we made a joke in East's chat that Bozilla's Julia, not Julia Hart, but Julia at home. Okay. That made no sense to me, but okay, we got that. But anyway, a pretty good Forbidden Door, and we're getting ready for Heat Wave. 6 matches, so this show could pretty much breeze by. We're done by 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then with everybody doing post-shows for pretty much Forbidden Door, if they're doing it now, they're probably going to wait till later. Then they're going to do their post-shows for Heat Wave. It's just going to be a long day. It's a long day. It's a long day living in Reseda. Okay. I can sing the late great Tom Petty. Really just love that guy. Anyway, let me move on. So we got that coming up in about 20 minutes. But really quickly, want to do my... I'm not doing a Collision review. I wanted to do it, but it coincided with a pay-per-view, so I was like, scrap it. But Collision will be back next week. Well, this coming weekend. Hopefully. But we get that. And Raw will be tomorrow night. Because it is taped from Birmingham, England. That would be... is a 3 p.m. show. If you don't have a VPN, you can't watch it. You have to wait to the Netflix replay at 8 here in the States. But if you have a VPN, you can watch it for free. So, buy a VPN right now, because if you want to watch the international shows when they're actually live in England or Japan or whatever, you get to watch it, and you don't have to wait till 8 o'clock. Works for me. You don't have to pay a lot for that muffler when we move on. Alright, so, minus collision. We got that. Alright, it is time for your Smackdown Thoughts. Understand? Thoughts. So, we are at the 3 Arena, nice name for an arena, in Dublin, Ireland. Look at the Irish. We'll get my shillelagh with Seamus fella. Anyway. Alright, so this is the first of the international shows. Like I said, we're going to be in Birmingham, England tomorrow afternoon. Or tomorrow night, for you people who are going to watch it later. And then Friday and Labor Day, we're going to be in Paris, France. For this week's SmackDown and next week's Raw. So we got that. Then we're back in the States, September the 5th. We're back on normal time, thank God. So we gotta wait a little bit. 3 more shows. We'll be back to a normal time slot. We got that. Alright, but let's talk about SmackDown. And as always, our commentary team of Joe Tessitore, and well, he's not from Ireland, but he got a big pop, and that's the man from England, Bad News Reed Barrett. And Joe, I'm afraid I got some bad news for you. Alright, we got that. Alright, so this is the pre-ultimate to ultimate go-home shows. We have the go-home show this week. So let's start it off with Joe Tessitore and Bad News Wade Barrett. Welcome to the show. And then the hometown girl, the man, Becky Lynch, the Women's Intercontinental Champion, comes out with her new theme by the Wonder Years. Nice name for a band after a great hit late 80s, early 90s TV show with Fred Savage, the actually better Savage, by the way. Ben Savage is a dick. Just want to point that out because he had a bang Topanga. Fuck you! Should have been me. I still want to bang Topanga. How old she looks now? She's 40-something, still looks great. Anyway, so Becky's all fired up to be in her hometown, and then she switches. Well, she talks about a live event here where she's like, I saw Randy Orton and we made eye contact. Great. Now we're here for TV, but you people don't deserve TV. So she played the heel role. Goes into a big freaking spiel. And says, list of all accomplishments, best-selling author, having a very hot American husband in Seth freaking Rollins, you know, lucky guy, Kobe, you fucker, and pretty much it. Brings up, then we get CM Punk chants. So Becky complains about a bunch of celebrities getting more attention than her, including some boxer who can fight, but can she cut a promo? Not many celebrities can cut promos. We get that. And, we move on. And then, it's Tiffy time! Daddy! Yes. Quick! I just want to say hi! Hi, Sunshine. You look great, as always. Oh, thank you, Daddy. Yeah. Tiffy time. Tiffy Stratton comes out, the SmackDown Women's Champion. Can't believe how ungrateful Becky is to Dublin, Ireland. Nice, cheap pop there, Tiffy. She threatens to make Becky leave, and then Nia, Jax comes out, goes after Tiffy. Jade comes in for the save. Jade Cargill comes in for the save, and guess what? We get a tag team match, player. And Teddy Long Teddy Long's not even at the show. And if you don't like that, you're gonna go one-on-one with The Undertaker. Damn right. Damn right. The GOAT of all goats, The Undertaker. Of the modern era. Not of all time, but the GOAT of all goats is Hulk Hogan. Brother! Of all time is Hogan, in my eyes. Of the modern era, which is 90-something on, is The Undertaker. You think with Cena? No. Roman? What was the GOAT of the pandemic era? So, it's not even a debate. You think Drew, in a way, yes, but when Roman came back in August of 2020, he pretty much put WWE on his back and took a rocket ship to Pluto. It is what it is, Prove me wrong if Roman did not save the WWE from utter destruction during the pandemic era. It's a proven fact. He's put on his back for 3.5 years. And now he just, comes and goes. But still, when he comes back, the ratings just go up the wazoo. Because he's Roman. He's the freaking tribal chief, of course. And we must acknowledge him. And if you don't acknowledge him, fuck you. Go acknowledge Justin Bieber. Well, actually, don't, but, well, if you want to, go ahead. Moving on. Alright, so tag team match to close the show. Alright, then Praxium tells Carmelo Hayes, him, that The Miz is a schemer, he's a backstabber. Miz comes in to protest, and we get a tag team match out of that. And it's a #1 contenders match, so the winner faces off, will face off against the Street Profits, and in their match coming up. We'll talk about that a little bit. Alright, so Carmelo Hayes and The Miz taking on Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin and Motor City Machine Guns. 8-minute match. And once again, like last week, Miz steals the pin after Carmelo hits a code breaker on Sabin. Shelley clotheslines Melo to the floor. Then a slingshot flippy dippity do. And Miz with the blind tag. Sabin didn't see it. And Miz steals another win from Melo, and then goes outside, he's like, hey, we won! And Melo's like, oh yeah, we won, yeah! Let me pick a side there, Melo, come on now. Alright, so we got that. So next week we got, Melo and Miz taking on the Street Profits, and the winner of that faces the Wyatts, probably at, Clash in Paris, for the Smackdown Tag Team belts. And we got that. Alright, then we go to the back, we have the birthday boy. Happy birthday to this guy, Jimmy Uso. So happy that he's going to be a dad, because he forgot to pull it at 2. Impregnated Naomi. Oh well, good for him, and good for her too. And then Sami Zayn comes in for a big old congrats, just whatever he does. Then he's like, oh, I'm gonna, you name him after your Uncle Sammy or some shit like that. It's like, I'm gonna be Uncle Sammy Uso. Okay. And then the United States champion Solo Mibuki and the rest of MFT, they come in. Solo says, well, you can name the baby after your real uncle, Uncle Solo. Okay. Really should be after Uncle Roman. Just saying. But Sammy says Solo needs to worry about holding on to his belt. And then MFT leave. So, and then, it's gonna be Tonga Loa and, who was it? Tonga Loa and I think Solo teaming up, and they're gonna fight the Street Profits. The winner of that will face Miz and Melo for the #1 contendership to the Wyatts SmackDown Tag Team titles. And this is what it is. By the way, it is 2 years since we lost a great man, Bray Wyatt, you great man up there. Follow the buzzards. Oh, we miss Bray. I think we do. Every freaking day we miss Bray Wyatt. We miss Daphne too here. I miss Daphne. 4 years coming up next Monday. 4 years since Daphne passed away. And if you haven't seen the Dark Side of the Ring episode, it's a tearjerker. Hard to get through. Alright, back to the action we go with the ladies. We got Horseface Charlotte Flair, along with Ms. Bliss, the other half of the Women's Tag Team Champion. She takes on Dewdrop, Piper Niven, who comes out with Chelsea Green, and Alba Fire of the Secret Service. It was an okay match, nothing great, under 8.5 minutes. Charlotte hits a moonsault on the for a near fall, then a spear for another near fall, then she locks in a figure 8, but then Alba Fire distracts the referee, which allows Chelsea Green to rake the eyes, ow, and then Piper squashes Charlotte in the corner, hits the Piper driver, not the Roddy Piper Piper driver, but the Piper Nevin driver. 1, 2, 3, a big, shocking victory by Piper Nevin as she beats one half of the women's tag team women's tag team champions. You know what that means. Alba Fire and Piper get an instant women's tag team title shot. You're gonna win? No. So we got that. Alright, then we go to the back. We have Mia Yim. She's interrupting the resident attorney, Kiana James, who's now the representative for the Women's United States Champion, the lovely Julia. So Mia basically says, hey, I want a title match with my good friend my ass, Julia. And basically Kiana's like, well, you know, if you want a title shot, you have to go through me. And then Mia's like, okay, I'll go through you to get my title shot. And then Mia, I think Julia's like, good luck with that. Something like that. So, probably we'll get Julia and Mia Yim for the Women's United States title. Mia Yim ain't gonna win that. There's no way. As much as I love her, there's no way. She should just leave fucking WWE, go to AEW. Maybe they'll resurrect her husband. We all know who that is, Mr. Keith Lee. Where have you been? On the sideline, pretty much. He's been out for a year. I think it's been a year. Because he had that little health scare, and I think he hurt his leg. As long as you don't come back with that gray hair. Like old man Keith Lee. Grandpa Keith Lee. With that gray hair. Ugh. Didn't like it. At all. Alright, moving on. Alright, then we get a video for WrestlePalooza, September the 20th at the same, well actually, it's going to be earlier than All Out, because All Out starts at 8, WrestlePalooza starts at 7, from where the Pacers play, the world champions of basketball. In Indianapolis, Indiana, Pat McAfee will be there, obviously. So we get that. So a ECW Classic pay-per-view comes back, and we're going to have the first annual WrestlePalooza. So we're going to get the matches for that coming right after Clash in Paris. So starting Labor Day, we're on the road to WrestlePalooza, so we'll get the matches formulated, what's going to happen there. There is a rumor that John Cena might face Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza. I think it fits then maybe than having it in Australia when we're going to see it at 6 o'clock in the morning. Bro. But knowing WWE and how dumb they book, they're probably going to have Cena and Brock in Australia, which is a 60,000 seat arena, I think it's going to be. Or whatever they're going to be in Perth, Australia. It makes sense to having it at like an 18 to 20,000 seat arena in Indy. It is what it is. Speaking of John Cena, comes out to a big Heroes Welcome in Ireland. Get the big introduction and everything. Then Logan Small comes out. They go at it. And basically Cena roasted this motherfucking YouTube piece of shit. Wannabe Puerto Rican, mind you. Sorry, Issa, but, you know, he's not a Puerto Rican. And, you know, he lives there now, but he's not Puerto Rican. He's a douchebag. Anyway. So, Logan's like, I've been doing this for 4 years while you're a corporate shill. And, who do everything the company tells him to do. He's like, kissing up to, you know, Connor and company, Nick Khan and everybody. And then he's like, well, who's the real imposter? The one who risks his life at every PLE, or the guy who has been doing the same 5 fucking moves for 20 years? I mean, he has a point. Cena admits that Logan is a presence and a tremendous athlete, with being a future WrestleMania main eventer, like in 5 years, but he's stuck on the term outsider. And then Cena's like, you're not an outsider, you're a disappointment. And then he says, WWE embraced you. You came in here trying to sell your crappy salt water bottles of Prime. Don't drink that shit. It tastes like garbage. I did taste some of it. The fruit punch flavor, I mean, not great. I tasted way better. And Prime ain't anything to write home about. It's like an energy enhancement drink, supposedly. We drink the real stuff here. We drink Pepsi with Henny in it. Oh yeah, baby. We get wired! And then we drink the energy drinks later. But we get that. Alright, blah, blah, blah. So he flips over the Prime display. And then it's like, you come in and try to sell us this crap. And now you're bragging about putting your life on the line for 23 matches? 23! Well, Cena's been doing it for over 20 fucking years. I mean, he roasted the ever-living shit out of him. And he calls Logan Paul a parasite. And he says, like, I could be wrestling freaking Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, people like that, but I gotta deal with your stupid YouTube ass. He's like, you don't know how to you know a lot about hustle because you're humble, but you know nothing about loyalty and respect. You better bring your A game to Paris or I'm gonna beat the ever-loving shit out of you. And then Logan Paul with a biff to Cena's hat. And then goes to beat up Cena. Cena drops her with the AA. I hope and pray Logan Paul does not beat Cena. Because like, there will be a riot in Paris. You talk about riots. There's been a lot of riots in Paris over the many years. With, well, not saying terrorist riots and stuff, but there's going to be a... Sorry about that. There's going to be a big, huge riot in Paris if Logan Paul beats Cena. We got that. Alright, Tiffy and Jade agree to work together, but Jade is coming for the belt afterwards, most likely. Got that. And then Logan Paul runs into Papucho, Drew McIntyre, who praises Logan's abilities. Okay. Then we have the Street Profits taking on the MFTs. It was Solo and Tonga Loa. Jimmy Uso comes in to hit Julio in the back. Sami Zayn then cuts off Solo Sikoa. Back in, Dawkins with a spine buster. Sets up on Jason Mateo, I should say, was in the match with Tonga Loa. And then Montez Ford hits that fork splash from the heavens in just under 10 minutes. The Street Profits get the win, and they will face off this Friday night in a #1 contenders match to see who faces the Wyatt Six for those SmackDown Tag Team Championship. I think it's going to be Miz and Mello. And don't look out now. I mean, Miz and Mello might be the new champs. But then again, they'll probably lose it real quick because Mello's going to turn face, beat the fuck out of the Miz, and then we're going to see what happens with Mello as a face, which worked in NXT in some ways. But we'll get that. Alright, then we were supposed to get Mr. Aleister Black taking on our fool, Ron Killings, but that didn't happen because Ron pops up on the screen and says, I went to the wrong Dublin, and he ends up in Dublin, Georgia, which I didn't even know was a place. And then Poppy Priest, Damian Priest comes out, and they start fighting. Security can't break it up, so nothing there. And they just fight till they can't fight no more. Alright. Then, commentary still doesn't have an update on Cody Rhodes, so Drew McIntyre once again comes out and basically says the update is that Cody Rhodes is a little bitch, you think? And the next time they fight, Drew is taking the belt, and he tells Cody, you have no friends, and then, out of nowhere, Randy Orton is not this voice! He's like, do you want Kessa? Bang! Lays out Drew, that's it. So, if Cody is legit hurt and can't compete at Clash in Paris, I guess they're going to go with a backup plan, which is Randy Orton against Drew. I mean, we'll see, but I don't know. We get that. Nia Jax and the man, Becky Lynch, are in the back. Can they really coexist? I doubt it. Alright, then we get what's coming up next week. And that's that. Then we go to the main event. The man, Becky Lynch and Nia Jax taking on Tiffy Time, Tiffy Stratton, and Jade Cargill. Quick match, 6.5 minutes. Jade gets the clink, comes in, Alpha hot tag, including a spinning torture rack power bomb. Interesting for a near fall. Nia comes in off a blind tag. Jade power bombs her out of the corner, which sets up the prettiest moonsault ever on Nia Jax. And then Jade comes off with a mediocre top rope splash, and they get the win. 1, 2, 3, 6.5 minutes, and that's it. Then we're not done. Nick Aldis, we see John Cena leaving the arena, but Nick Aldis stops him and says, "I just heard from Brock Lesnar," and then out of nowhere, Logan Paul, boom, knocks John Cena out cold, and then he leaves, and and then Nick's like, "What are you doing?" And then Logan's like, "Ah!" And then he runs out, and I think that car was waiting for him. And then Nick goes back to Cena to see if he's still alive. That ends the show. I was like, okay. Interesting way to end the show. There was 2 versions of it, I heard. 2 different angles, I think. So we went with the one we saw on the USA Network. But if you had the WWE YouTube page, we saw the other angle. So we got that. So, SmackDown, meh. So I give it 6.5 out of 10 stars, and that's it. Alright. NXT Heatwave is on the air. I'm going to go watch that right now. And I'll be back after that with my 3rd video of the day. And I'm going to talk about Forbidden Door a little bit more in depth, more analysis. And that's pretty much it. So stay tuned later on. So we're going to have some din pretty soon watching NXT Heatwave to end this long Sunday of great wrestling action. And by the way, Carlos Mendoza, fuck you with your stupidity in that Met game. Mets lost 4-2. They lost a game to the Phillies, who won. So tomorrow, Mets Phillies begin their big 3-game series. The Mets are 7 games out of the division. Don't know what happened with the Reds and the Diamondbacks. Right now, the Mets were 2.5 ahead of the Reds, 5.5 ahead of the Diamondbacks, who are starting to make a run. And then you got the Cardinals at 5.5. I think 5.5 or 6 back. So it's getting dicey with 32 games to play. 4 weeks left. Well, actually, 5 weeks from today, the season is over. So Mets gotta start, kicking it into gear as we hit September. But I think they'll be thankful that August is done. So hopefully the Mets get back on a winning streak, because it's going to be a big, huge 3-game series at home in Citi Field against the Phillies. Then you got the Tigers coming in, the Marlins coming in on Thursday for a big, huge 4-game series, and then the Mets go on a little road trip to Detroit and Cincinnati, which is going to be a big series next weekend, or after Labor Day weekend, the following weekend. So got that. So it's a big series for the Mets, and they got to start winning, because that 2.5 game lead can evaporate really quickly. And the Mets could be out in the playoffs by the middle of September. Hopefully not, but we'll see. And that's it. All right, time to watch NXT Heatwave. And until next time, once again, 6.5 out of 10 stars for SmackDown. And that's it. Until next time, my friends. Peace.